You know, I thought about starting today's report by talking about all the winners I've had lately, but unfortunately, if I did that, the report would already be over. So instead, I think I'll just promote the fact that I've got complimentary plays coming up on your Atlantic 10 game at night at 7 o'clock tip-off between Dayton and Richmond, and then a couple of earlier games. In the Big 12, you've got Baylor and Kansas State, and in the AAC, you've got Cincinnati and Rutgers. Those are your three free picks coming your way in just a moment. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here. This, of course, going to be your Saturday video report. As you know, each and every Saturday, I have done this for the past couple of years. I've given you the opportunity to save potentially hundreds of dollars with a money-saving discount coupon code, and that code today is 25%. 25 P-E-R-C-E-N-T. Spell it all out. No space between the number or the word. 25%. That'll save you 25% off your total purchase price. Now, that's good for anything here on the site. Picks, packages, long-term packages, anything you want. But the only stipulation is you have to put everything in your shopping cart at one time to make your purchase. So, for example, you can't come in and get Chris Jordan's big play and then 3 hours later decide I want to cash in with Jeff Benton's monster 150 dime release. No, everything in your shopping cart at one time, and then you'll take 25% off your total purchase price by using that coupon code 25%. Now, I just mentioned Chris Jordan. You know, Chris is a guy that I met 1983. 1983. He was in his second year as a professional handicapper at that point. Today, he has an ultra-rare 2,000-star college basketball release. This is his biggest college basketball play in 5 years, guys. In 30-plus years as a handicapper, and as I always say, 30-plus years as a handicapper in a business where it's hard sometimes to make it 30 days. Don't I know it after the past 30 days? He has 11-6 lifetime with these 2,000-star releases. It's his rivalry blowout of the year. And it's undoubtedly one of the biggest plays going here today from all of the handicappers here at the site. Another guy who has a big play today, Jeff Benton. Now, unfortunately, Benton did lose last night, the charity play of the week selection. But that doesn't dull the fact that in college basketball, he's on a 22-9 run, making $10 bettors a little over $8,700. It doesn't dull the fact that $10 bettors have won a little over $7,200 since January, and he's going for winning day number 34 out of 55 today with his biggest hoops play ever. 150 dime winner, number 3 in a row, road warrior game of his career. His other two 150 dime releases, NC State over Virginia Tech back in the middle of February, and then late January, Syracuse at Miami of Florida. And today, that big 150 dime release is available for Jeff Benton. Another guy who's been on another hot roll. Listen, this guy was on a hot roll for months, and then he hit a dry spell in February, but he's back. It is Brad Wilton, of whom I'm speaking of, going for winning day number 5 out of 6 this week and winning day 36 out of 58 overall. $10 bettors have won a little over $10,300 since July. Second biggest hoops play this year. 80 dime SEC game of the year, Missouri and Tennessee, and that is the half price play of the day. Now remember, he just hit 40 dime plays on Wednesday, Oklahoma over West Virginia. On Thursday, Cincinnati over Memphis. And last night, Wright State over Oakland. They were all double-digit winners in last night's play. You got for just $24. In today's play, you get as the half-price play of the day, Missouri and Tennessee, simply by using the coupon code. Are you ready? It's the word HALF, H-A-L-F. And finally, something that I started about a month ago, and it's been particularly effective on Saturdays, as I've tried to find you a handicapper that has a big play and a guy that happens to be winning, of course, unlike me, on the Saturday night card. Well, today I'm turning to Brian Rosica. He's going for his 4th straight winner this week. It's his 50-dime bailout game of the year, New Mexico at San Diego State. It's a 10 o'clock Eastern time kickoff. Now, you remember when these two met in Albuquerque, 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, Lobos just kicked the Aztecs' asses? Either way, San Diego State is the home favorite in this one. Can they get revenge? Well, here's the bottom line, guys. You're going to get this play for just $29 tonight. $29. Twice as strong as his 25-dime winner, number 5 out of 7 last night. Oh, that was an easy one. Princeton laying 13.5 points, beating Cornell by 40. You can use coupon code ROSICA70. ROSICA70. R-O-S-I-C-A and the number 70. And that'll get you tonight's play for just $29 as he goes for his 4th straight winner this week. Now, listen, some guys that I'm talking about, like Chris Jordan and Brian Rosica, are not at the sites that you happen to be watching my video report today. If that is the case, just contact customer service and they will point you in the right direction and tell you where to find them. And finally, Scott Delaney, second biggest NBA play of the year. Yes, he thinks the best bet is the NBA tonight. He thinks it also happens to be a total, and the guy knows of what he speaks. His 80-dime winner, number 11 out of 14, happens to be his interconference total of the year, number 3 in a row in the Hawks Clippers over under. You get it for only $7.77 by using coupon code 777. That's TRIPLE and the number 7. Part 1, Warriors and Knicks over by 30 points 2 Fridays ago. Part number 2, Spurs and Cavaliers over by 20 points on Tuesday. Not bad. And part number 3, and by the way, you got both of those plays for just $5. Part number 3 goes today. So those are the key handicappers I wanted to talk about. And excuse me, guys, I got hair in my eyes. It's driving me nuts. Let's talk about your free selections here. First of all, Dayton's been red hot. 9.5-point favorite tonight, senior night, home game for the Flyers, who are always been a good play at home. Meanwhile, Richmond coming off a hard-fought loss, 56-50 to Virginia Commonwealth in their home finale a couple of nights ago. They lost their 2 prior games on the road to Rhode Island and George Mason by 23 and 9-point margins, and I think they only scored 16 and 15 points, respectively, in the first half of those contests. They've lost 4 of their last 5 overall. Now, Richmond did win the first go-round, 73-64, back on January 18th, but you got to remember, back then, Richmond was an entire team, and what I mean is their starting point guard, Cedric Lindsey, who was averaging 18.3 points a game before being shut down because of a knee injury, had 17 points in the first meeting. Now you got a Dayton team. Home finale. They've won 8 of their last 9 games, only lost in that stretch coming in a road loss to St. Joe's. They're coming off a 72-67 win at St. Louis as the road dog. Before that, they upset UMass. I think it's a big number, but I think it's a coverable number for the Flyers here this evening. Your next free selection, guys, I'm going to go with Kansas State in revenge, minus the 4 today at home as they look for their 16th consecutive win in Manhattan as they host Baylor. First time these two met. It's a deceptive final score. February 15th in Waco. You see Baylor won the game 87-73 in double overtime. But listen, this was a game that Kansas State had in control. Baylor, it was a really weird play at the end of that game. A rebound goes back. One of the Baylor player gets it, hits a three-pointer as time expires, forcing the overtime. And basically, at that point, it was all over for K-State. But this game is in Manhattan. This game is not in Waco, okay? And this is a Baylor team that is a perfect 8-0 in conference play at home this year. Yeah, 8-0. Beat Kansas in double overtime, beat Texas, beat Oklahoma State, took care of business against Oklahoma. They're going to take care of business in revenge here again today. Baylor has the size, but Kansas State has the depth, and Kansas State is just a gritty, defensive, tough team. Fewest points allowed in the Big 12 this season per game at 64.5. That's one of the top figures in the nation, too, you know. They're holding foes to just 40.2% shooting. Yes, Baylor has suddenly played its way back into the big dance picture and certainly is on a roll with the Big 12 tournament, around the corner. They've won 6 of their last 7 after losing 7 out of 8. But just keep in mind, they lost their last road game at Texas. So, anyway, I like Kansas State to rebound in this one. And then finally, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I know it could be a potential letdown spot if you look at the game one way at Rutgers today, where the Bearcats are laying 8, because Cincinnati's just coming off a big, big home win in their home finale against Memphis, a 97-84 blowout. That was their highest scoring output since like December 23rd. And now they find themselves on the road in a letdown spot against Rutgers. But listen, that's just talk. That's just hype, really. Because how can you have a letdown when you are playing for potentially a share of the AAC? It sounds so strange, the AAC. I want to say ACC. The AAC title. Because they can clinch a share of it with the win. and then have to wait around for the result of the Louisville, Connecticut game later in the day. Now, listen, Louisville's probably going to win the game. Matter of fact, Louisville's probably going to cover the 9-point spread in that one, too, against Huskies. But I think Cincinnati takes care of business and makes that game crucial for Louisville, and they cover the 8-point spread in this one. Listen, they won the first game this season between these two, 71-51 at home, January 11th. They were a 12.5-point favorite. The Knights have lost 10 of their last 13 games. The only 3 wins in that stretch. They swept the season series from South Florida, and they won a home game against Houston. Big deal. Big deal. Cincinnati, of course, coming off the big win against Memphis, which was nice because, remember, they had lost their 2 previous games, losing at Connecticut by 6 and then losing at home on that last-second shot by Russ Smith of Louisville. They have won 8 of the last 9 in the series. Rutgers, second worst defense in that league behind Temple, giving up 76.2 points. And what does it say that Temple, one of their few wins in league play this season, came against these Scarlet Knights as well? Meanwhile, you got a Cincinnati team that is on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of their defensive intensity. Number 4 in the nation. We're talking right up there, right behind Virginia, right? Number 4 in the nation with a points per game yield of 58.1. Rutgers only shot 33.9% from the field in the first meeting, missing 13 out of 15 three-pointers. Listen, Rutgers is only shooting like a little over 40% the past 5 games overall. In the first go-round, Rutgers held without a field goal in the final 11 minutes and 45 seconds of that game by the Cincinnati defense. If Cincinnati was 11 points today, 10 points, I'd be concerned. At 8 points, I'm riding the Bearcats. So Cincinnati is a road favorite. That's a 1 free pick. Kansas State is a home chalk, and revenge is another. And then I'm going to go ahead with Dayton in revenge at home as another home chalk as your final free selection today. Best of luck to you guys, and I will catch you again on Sunday morning.